Jews, get it on your nose, or salvation is only among the Armenians. Jesus Christ was crucified by the Romans at the instigation of the Jews in Jerusalem, and he landed among the Armenians in Armenia in Ichmiadzin, which translates and means in Armenian, as the angel descended and rose again at the behest of God, because the Jews were jealous that one of them had risen and become the Messiah, the Son of God, and therefore if Jesus Christ, if he had risen in Jerusalem, the Jews would have crucified him again. In the Quran, Jews are directly cursed by God and turned into pigs and monkeys. Surah 5:60-64, and therefore the question will always be before the faithful Muslims, either Islam or Jews. It is obvious that anti-Semitism, Nazism, fascism, racism and even the Holocaust will seem childish to Jews in comparison with what awaits them among Muslims, and the disappearance of the 2 remaining tribes of Israel out of 12 awaits them, since 10 tribes of Israel have already disappeared from the ranks of people. At the same time, the Prophet Muhammad and his closest disciples considered the Armenians faithful to the Almighty of the peoples and therefore gave the Armenians 16 protective firmans, which are still kept in the Armenian Church in the holy city of Jerusalem, and in which the persecution against the Armenians is equated with the persecution against the Prophet Muhammad. Prophet Muhammad and his closest disciples considered the Armenians to be a loyal people to the Almighty not by their own will, but because they knew and understood such an opinion of Allah. The great Russian and English poets Pushkin and Byron thought the same way. The Ark of Noah, faithful to God, stuck to Mount Ararat, the symbol of Armenians and Armenia from the Armenian highlands, which is a continuation of the Caucasus Mountains 2,100 years before the birth of Christ, and it follows that all the lands of present-day Turkey and Azerbaijan are the lands of Armenians from God, the indigenous inhabitants of these lands, and not only Artsakh and 7 adjacent districts. Therefore, all the lands of present-day Turkey and Azerbaijan should be returned to the Armenians, and Armenia, which were given to the Turks by the Zionists, and most Armenians were killed and expelled from their lands and homes with the direct participation of the Zionists since 1909, and to the present. When the Zionists overthrew the Sultan of the Ottoman Empire, the representative of Allah on earth, who, like all the sultans of the Ottoman Empire, considered the Armenians to be a loyal people to the Almighty, with the help of Enver Pasha, the son-in-law of the Sultan of the Ottoman Empire, greedy for gold, and then in 1917 overthrew Tsar Nicholas II of Russia, the anointed of God on earth, and the Russian Provisional Government, who never they would not have fought against the sons of the faithful Noah of the Armenians. They began to help the Turks, who lost the First World War and gave the Turks the lands of eastern Armenia, renaming the Turks into Azerbaijanis. Saying Jews around the world are against the Zionist policy not because they are against Jews, but because they understand that such a Zionist policy contradicts the will of the Creator of the universe, God, which will necessarily be followed by severe punishment. Therefore, the salvation of Jews among Armenians, as well as the Jew Jesus Christ,